Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome back to my channel. So, I found this pattern on Pinterest, and I think it'd be very simple to do a upcycle of something. But I do need to do a little bit more research on this because this is giving me Japanese vibes, but at the same time, I have a feeling that it is not from Japan. And I do not want to insult the culture of whoever made this. So once I figure out a little bit more on this, I'll go ahead and be able to address it by its real name. Unfortunately, the site that I got this pattern from does not have a name of what it's called. Even when you use the translate feature from Russian to English, it does not have any form of translation. But I have a feeling this is a type of, I'm going to butcher it, but it's a type of haori, which is an over kimono, like a kimono jacket. But let me do some research on that, and then we can go ahead and start putting this thing together. So the next big task is to clean up my craft area so that we can actually use my computer. Yeah. And this is what I mean by clean up everything. Gotta put back all the thread, gotta straighten everything up, and put everything back to where it belongs before I could even get started to use my computer. Okay, so after all this time of me having to reset my password and everything else just to get back into Pinterest on this computer, now I guess I can go to my actual folders. So let's go to, where's my sewing? There's that. Where's that pattern? Okay, so right here is the actual pattern itself. But if I go to the actual site, for one, it's all in Russian. So let's go to their site. There's really nothing there. Just a bunch of file names. And on my phone, I use the translator option to basically, so I can actually read all this. But on here, it really doesn't give much to it. But my friend, who is from Thailand, actually told me about something. They said it might have been a Boro. B-O-R-O. Boro. Japanese. C-O-A-T. So we go to images. And a lot of this is very similar to kimonos, but some of them have the correct sleeves that we're looking for, but I am not seeing what it is. So okay, so now this one has very similar style in the way it's cut. Like so. But I wonder what the front looks like. So here's a front image of it, but I'm not seeing the seam lines that are right here. Now, this is, I'm probably going to butcher it. Okay, so Sashiko is what this one is, but that refers to a style of stitching that is used for quilting purposes. As for this type of garment, it yet does not follow this one. So, hauri. So, I have a feeling it's a type of hauri. I really hope I said that right. But at the same time, my friend believes that it is a type of Boro. So this is what my friend believes it is, right here. I don't know if my touchscreen is on. But if you look at it, it doesn't have the same seams as the one that I got from the Russian site. And it's also done in denim. A lot of these heavy winter coats from Japan are done in a type of denim quilt, patch quilt style. So as you can see, like this style of coat. I think I'm going to make the executive decision on this and refer to this garment for the rest of this video as a Boro. Pronounced. Hopefully I pronounced it right. But it is B-O-R-O. Boro. So let's see if I can actually get... Okay, so after doing all the research and trying to find the proper name for this garment, I'm just going to call it a Boro. Probably not the right term for it, and probably going to get me into a lot of trouble, but I cannot find the actual definition of this type of coat. But it looks simple enough to be able to make, and I can probably make it out of an old blanket. Famous last words, probably. But let's see if I can do this. Okay, let's go ahead and do a thrift shop haul. As you can see, I got a bunch of sheets that I got for $1.99, except for the curtain, which was $3.99, and the blanket, which was $14.99. But on this day, pink and green were all 50% off. I also got 2 pairs of shoes, and these have already been cleaned and everything. But I think this one says $7, and then these were $4. So I'll be wearing those for Belle, and the blanket is going to be a project, and so is the pink and blue, because these colors are a lot more vibrant than the colors I dyed. So I'm going to go with the thrift shop version to make this project, which is still a secret, but this is what I've got from the haul. So I did make a mock-up of this, but I have a feeling I messed up, so I can always reprint this. So now to make this life size. Okay, don't hold this against me, but I had to see this visually, so I used some scrap fabric to basically fold the fabric in for the bottom, fold in right there. Here's the fold down, collar is right here, and that gave me the actual insert piece to be able to know how to cut this. And now I just wasted probably about 2 yards of fabric just to do this, but I can always use it for mock-up fabric later. I got the blanket, but I don't like that it's a gingham. But on the other side, it's plain. So my goal is to try dyeing it so I can use these as the bias tape, which this little pattern, 100% cotton. I think this will look me. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this according to manufacturer's recommended, that I need to put this as hot as it can go. Turn it on. Large load. Evenly distribute. Hot. Okay, while that thing fills, I'm going to go ahead and get a pair of gloves that are not for food, no food. So, because when you open this to dump it in there, you don't want it all over your hands. So, it does say to add a little bit of dish soap to this. So, let me go get a little bit of dish soap, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I did half the amount because I don't want my entire washing machine going crazy with bubbles, and I'll use the rest of it as laundry detergent because it just basically needs a catalyst to evenly distribute the rest of the dye itself anyway. Some things do call for adding salt, but that's normally for the all-purpose dyes that go with, generally goes for the ones that are all-purpose dyes because they are binding to natural fibers and not staining the synthetic fibers that synthetic dyes do. They're basically penetrating the plastic. So, let's go ahead and try not to burn myself. Forward, and okay, so I can add in the yellow sun dye. And then we let it wash. Post-editing stitches here. By the way, the dye did not really take for the fabric, so just disregard that. But at least it shows you that I did try to dye it. For the rest of this, I sped it up because it's a lot of me playing around with angles and trying to get the pattern exactly right. But again, this is just all trial and error. This is something I've not made ever, and I've got to try to figure it out. So this is just me cutting up pieces, showing you that you're gonna have to change some things because the actual pattern does not have instructions, nor does it have actual measurements. So just sit back and enjoy. Okay, and this is all that remains from the coat itself. I'm still going to hold on to the bigger pieces, but the smaller pieces will go in the trash. But this is the scalloped edge that I didn't use, except for in the collar, maybe. Don't know yet. But that's how much I have left. Right here I'm just doing a flat felled seam. I cut off some of the salvage on one side and I'm folding the fabric over to basically encase itself to join the collar piece. So I just sewed this piece in, and now I'm going to sew that piece right there, and then do the same thing on the other side. But as you can see, that's the join right there. Okay, let's talk recap. I learned a lot when making this, but at the same time, I learned that I do not like this type of piecing when it comes to sewing it together. But again, that is not a general thing against the pattern, but more that I need to work on my piecing skills. I'm not a quilter, so this is something that I'm gonna have to like play around with, and maybe at a future date come back to this project. But I think this prototype came out pretty well. If I do in the future decide to make this into an actual garment, that will be something that I plan on doing a little later. I don't know if I'm actually gonna do it or not, but as of right now, it works for its purposes. However, I do need to work on sizing it down. It is a little large for me. So I may be ending up giving this to a friend, but as of right now, thank you for following along with this journey on how I paste this type of Boro together and the experiences that I learned along the way. If this type of content is of your interest, please go ahead and like, share, and comment, and follow if you'd be so generous. So, until next time, tschüssi!